Judges is a fascinating book. It reads like a movie with all the components you hear about Hollywood loves to put out there. There's violence and blood and gore and relational dysfunction and all kinds of things. So it's fascinating reading. But what we really want to look for, we want to go way beyond those things and say, yes, the Bible is very real life, raw and real, about humanity, about sin and depravity. This was a low point. The book of Judges takes place in a low point of the history of God's people. They were not walking faithfully with the Lord. Many of them had walked away from the Lord. And what we see is a cycle in this book of how the people would sin, and then the Lord, in his kind mercy, would let their lives fall apart. And then they'd cry out to the Lord for help and deliverance. He would raise up a judge for them who would come deliver them from the enemy of the day, whatever was going wrong in their lives. And then for a brief time, they would be grateful and thankful and worship the Lord. And then the cycle would start all over again. And that repeated pattern is all of our history. It's the history of God's people in all times. But the main thing here, I think there's a misconception about the book of Judges, and that is that people look to the judges as heroes sometimes, or as the people we're supposed to, let's be like this judge and not like that judge. And the judges really aren't the point of the book. So they're not who we're supposed to focus on. We're supposed to look at the Lord of those judges, the Lord of his people. And the main objective, the way the book of Judges takes the storyline of the Bible forward, is kingship. It's the idea of kingship. It's God was illuminating to his people the kind of ruler they really needed. They needed a king, and this is getting us set up for the great King David, and ultimately, beyond David himself, to King Jesus. And that's where this Old Testament, this dark Old Testament book, wants to point us to the beautiful bright light of Jesus.